Everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality back with you here today to go over something that I find to be pretty ridiculous given the events that happened around this particular situation. So, most of you, I'm sure, are aware at this point that a couple weeks ago, there was a school shooting in Nashville by a shooter that identified as trans, left a manifesto that we still haven't seen yet for, I wonder what reasons. Who purposely targeted a Christian school in an obvious hate crime and ended up murdering 6 people, 3 of whom were children. Right after that, in the Tennessee State House, a bunch of leftist Democrats decided to hijack the official proceedings of the State House, and basically just it was about over this whole gun control situation. Like, they want gun control. 2 of the 3 members, coincidentally, the 2 African-American members, that would be Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, and then Gloria Johnson, the 2 African-American men were expelled, who have since been reinstated, and Gloria Johnson didn't get expelled she missed getting expelled by 1 vote. And then since then, even though we're going to come back to this actual article here, since then, there's been video coming out of Justin Jones during the Black Lives Matter riots in 2020, violently assaulting people in the streets. And he was arrested for it, so he does have an actual criminal record, and this is him that keeps popping up down here. Justin Pearson, turns out that he thinks he's the second coming of Martin Luther King, which he is absolutely not. And there's video of him that's come out from 2016 where he's talking just like a regular human being, and then now they show video of him talking just recently, and he sounds like he's preaching a sermon. So he sounds completely different. So I think this dude seems like he's a little bit of a grifter. And then Gloria Johnson has come out and made some utterly obnoxious statements about things. And that'll be covered in another video that will hopefully be up pretty soon as well. So, getting to the point of this, with those members back in the Tennessee, back at their jobs, I'll just say that, there was the governor decided he wanted to have everybody vote on a school safety bill, which would have, I believe, and I think we're going to go through it here, but put armed guards in schools, because you want to protect your children. And these folks here, who are so very much for, gun control and all this, decided, yeah, we're not going to vote for this bill to protect the children. So the article here from Fox News, which is dated April 13, said Tennessee Democrats who faced expulsion failed to vote for school safety bill that earned bipartisan support. And I think these 3, it says right here, is actually what I was just about to say, were 3 of the 4 Democrats who opposed the measure. And those were the only people that opposed the measure. So these 3 apparently have a hill that they're going to die on. And yeah, that's that. So the Tennessee 3 lawmakers who faced expulsion from the House after they took part in a gun control protest at the state capitol last month failed to vote in favor of a school safety measure that passed through the chamber last week with bipartisan support. Though it was filed prior to the deadly school shooting at the Covenant School late last month, House Bill 322, which passed in a vote of 95-4 last week, included several additions made as a legislative response to the tragedy, according to the Tennessean. 3 of the 4 Democratic lawmakers who opposed the measure, Reps Justin Jones, Gloria Johnson, and Justin Pearson, all faced expulsion from that state house this month after they were said to have led protesters to the balconies of the state house and broke certain rules by speaking from the chamber about gun control. While Johnson survived a vote from her colleagues, again, that was by 1 vote. Jones and Pearson were both expelled and later reinstated. And I think they were reinstated not by the Tennessee legislature, but by their city councils or something like that. I don't know the exact rules down there, so it wasn't the state house that brought them back in. It was their city councils that reinstated them with whatever rules they have in Tennessee. Again, I don't actually know. So it says the other Democrat who voted against the measure was Rep. Tory Harris. The dissenters claim that the measure did not go far enough in addressing the issues behind school shootings. Well, apparently only you 4 think that, so the other 95 people don't seem to agree with you. Passed by the State House on Thursday, so that would have been April 13th, the day of this article. So the bill would enhance safety protections for students in both public and private schools across the volunteer state. The bill would require public schools to keep exterior doors locked when students are present, with the school being subjected to penalties for repeat violations. It would also require public schools to conduct yearly incident command and bus safety drills in addition to armed intruder drills, with newly constructed public schools required to install locks on classroom doors and secure entryways. Just random thought here, and again, someone with more knowledge than me about this, let me know, but is that a fire hazard if they have to keep the exterior doors locked or something like that? I mean, I guess that depends on what the fire rules or laws are in Tennessee or any particular area, but that just seems like a fire hazard. I mean, I'm not opposed to this, but just, again, seems like a fire hazard. Does the measure also require school districts in the state to implement threat assessment teams and provide law enforcement agencies in the state with access to its security systems and safety plans, with private security guards undergoing yearly active shooter training? All right, that's totally within reason. So under the measure, Tennessee private schools would be required to lock exterior doors, create emergency preparedness plans, and conduct yearly drills. Why they're not doing emergency preparedness plans and conducting yearly drills, I don't know. Like, that seems like it should be a thing. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we always had the whole nuclear bomb fallout when, your little wooden desk was supposedly going to shield you from, fallout from a nuke going off, but all right. And we did tornado drills, of course, things like that. Hell, we did tornado drills at the company that I work for now when we were still working in the office. So those are still things that happen. So it's like, just be prepared for these things. We know, unfortunately, things like this are going to happen, so why aren't we preparing for them? So, we don't want gun battles at the schoolhouse door, Johnson said in a House floor debate prior to the vote, according to the Tennessean. We want our kids to be safe and to feel safe. Yes, and they'd be felt safe if people were knowing what they were going to do in case the situation popped up. Okay, so your statement doesn't mean anything. Says Pearson agreed, saying, I don't think that penalizing or advocating that our schools become more like prisons is the right solution. No, do you know what you're talking about? So the real question is, how do we prevent people with assault rifles from going into schools? Okay, first, Mr. Pearson, define assault rifle. Guarantee you can't actually do it because you just hear that term and parrot what your side of the political aisle is saying. I'm not someone who knows very much about guns. In fact, I can tell you right now, I've never even fired anything other than a BB gun, and that was at overnight camp many, many, many moons ago. So I don't know, but I can tell you, I know what an assault rifle is, or the difference between that and other things. So I think you should probably look up what that is, because I guarantee you what you think an assault rifle isn't actually what one is. And how do you prevent them from going into schools? I don't know, by doing all the things this bill suggested that be done. My God, are you dumb? It says, expressing opposition to the measure, Jones said, this is an optical spectacle decision. That's interesting. Optical spectacle. Haven't seen those two words back to back. So this is an optical spectacle decision to offer these false solutions. They're not false solutions. Seems pretty good. You want exposure when we're saying we want you to do something. This is a very political, calculated decision. Okay, so that's word salad is what you said. You just basically don't like this. And that's all you really needed to say. Before being cut off by House Speaker Cameron Sexton, Republican Rep. Scotty Campbell responded, if you want to talk about playing to the cameras, that's what just occurred. That is 100% correct. That's all these guys are doing. And the lady says, with the State House's approval, the legislation is now expected to be considered by the Tennessee State Senate. Good. Said both chambers are still weighing Governor Bill Lee's amended budget proposal, which includes $140 million to create a school resource officer grant fund to place trained and armed security guards at public schools. $30 million to expand homeland security networks that monitor threats to schools, $20 million for public school security upgrades, $7 million for private school security upgrades, and $8 million for extra behavioral health liaisons in schools across the state. I don't see a problem with any of that, to be quite honest. And it's funny how the people who think that if there's guns around, that they're automatically, just because guns are around, they're going to be less safe. It's not the gun that's the problem. It's the person using it. Okay? And you can see with all these mass shooters that have happened, whether it's something like this Nashville shooting or the Highland Park one, which happened 15 minutes from where I was. In fact, when they caught the guy on the road, I remember looking at the TV. I was at my parents' house that day, and I was just like, without even seeing the road signs, I was like, hey, this must be the intersection of this street and that street. And it turns out that was exactly where it was. So, I've been very close to a shooting, but I wasn't in it, of course. But the point that I was going to make being like, if you have places where people know they can bring guns that nobody else has them. That's where all these mass shootings happen. If you go look up the statistics, at least as of the last time I looked at it, it was something like all but 2 mass shootings that happened in these supposed gun-free zones. I mean, again, if you're a criminal and you're looking to hurt a lot of people, if there's a place out there that's advertising that nobody here is going to be able to hit back at you, then that's probably where you're going to go to commit those crimes. You're not going to go to a place where it's like, oh, all these people are strapped to the teeth and you may not get through the doors before getting put down. They're probably going to go somewhere else. And in fact, in the Nashville shooter specifically, if you look that up, what they said about what she did, that you'll see that she actually had other targets picked out that she decided against going to because they had security there, and she went to the school that she did and murdered those people because they did not. Okay, so to sit here and say that guns are just make people less safe, no, they make people more safe. Okay, and there's beyond a ridiculous amount of evidence that shows that, but we're supposed to act here like, putting an armed security guard or, other measures in schools is like, oh no, people are gonna be unsafe just because there's a gun there. Okay, you're an idiot if you actually think that. And I would say that to all 3 of these reps, that you don't really know what you're talking about. You're just simply towing a party line here and just saying, the same thing that everybody on that side does. There have to be less guns because we just don't like them. Okay, maybe if you actually learned something about them, okay, you'd feel a bit differently. So let me know what you guys think below in the comments. Obviously the situation that brought this up sucks to high heaven. But these 3 are just seem to be narcissistic assholes that just want their 15 minutes, and they're certainly getting it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye.